We'll make a start. We're just waiting for one more person. I'm sure we can hear the knock. Welcome everyone to this lecture on Vedanta. This is our second session, started last year in our house, and people have expressed more interest, so we thought we'll get a bigger place. We'll just go through a few things about the housekeeping. The duration of the lecture will be 1 hour. At the end of the lecture, there will be a 15 minutes question-answer session. And please switch your mobile phones either into silent or vibration mode during the session. We are not expecting any fire drills, so we literally have to run if there is something sinister happens, either through that door or through that door, and that's the meeting point where cars are parked. As you all know, please come to our house, join us for lunch after this lecture. And I hope everyone knows our house. If anyone is unsure, just ask me. And big thank you to Pauline and Colin for us to use this room, and particularly for the flowers, the lovely flowers. Just want to say a few words. Vedanta, it means culmination of knowledge to its highest altitude. And Bhagavad Gita is a 700-verse scripture originally written in Sanskrit language and is part of Hindu epic Mahabharata. Essentially, Gita is a vehicle through which concepts of Vedanta are brought to the mankind. Mahatma Gandhi referred Gita as a spiritual dictionary. It's our privilege to have Mr. Shivendar Nagar today for this lecture. He has studied extensively Vedanta in Vedanta Academy in India, and for the last 21 years he has been lecturing all over the world on Vedanta, from Oslo to Nairobi, from Hong Kong to California. We are fortunate to have Mr. Nagar, Pandit in Vedanta, who is going to take us through a couple of verses of Gita and explain its philosophical, theological, and spiritual connotations. Over to you, and just to give a big round of applause for Mr. Nagar.
We'll start with a small prayer.
Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishamai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
First of all, we'll chant these 2 verses of the Bhagavad Gita. The Prema will chant, and we'll chant together. These 2 verses of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse number 62 and 63. Twice we'll chant.
Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho bhijayate. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho bhijayate. Krodhat bhavati sammohaha sammoha smriti vibramaha smriti bhramshat buddhinashaha buddhinashat pranashyati. Krodhat bhavati sammohaha sammohat smriti vibramaha smriti bhramshat buddhinashaha buddhinashat pranashyati.
As Dr. Alberto just now mentioned that I studied Vedanta, so it's my obligatory duty to tell you what is Vedanta. As we know, we have 4 Vedas, the 4 old scriptures we have, and the 4 Vedas are known as Rig Ved, Sam Ved, Atharvan Ved, and the Rig Ved, Sam Ved, Yajur Ved, and Atharvan Ved. There are 4 Vedas. And the last portion of the Vedas are known as Veda Anta. Anta in Sanskrit means end. The last portions of the Vedas are known as Vedanta. There is another pun in this word, and the pun is Vedam also means the knowledge. Veda means the knowledge. Anta means the culmination of knowledge, highest knowledge. The knowledge which teaches us how do I face my mind. How can I control my emotion, anger, jealousy, greed, envy? How can I control my fears? The knowledge teaches us, this knowledge, Vedas teaches us how can I handle myself. So in this 1 hour discussion, in this 1 hour talk, we have a freedom to ask questions, because in the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavan says, the Bhagavad Gita is a essence of the whole Vedas. So there are 4 Vedas. The last portion of the Vedas are known as the Upanishad, Vedanta, and the Bhagavad Gita is the essence of the Vedanta. It's a how can we use this highest knowledge into day-to-day life. So before I start, I must tell you 1 or 2 things which is very important for a Vedantic student. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord Krishna says every student should have 3 qualities. Whatever you want to learn in life, you want to learn medicine, you want to learn chemistry, physics, biology, carpentry, whatever you want to learn in life, every good student should have 3 qualities. The first quality of a good student is a Shraddha Bhav. Shraddha Bhav means, in Sanskrit means a faith. If someone who's teaching you, you should have a faith that he or she knows more than me. The second quality for a good student is Seva Bhav. Seva Bhav means an attitude of service. You have to have an attitude of service toward your teacher. But that's not important today. The third quality which is very important for any student, the first quality is a Shraddha Bhav, a faith. Second quality is a Seva Bhav. Seva Bhav means attitude of service. And the third quality which is very important to learn anything in life, and that's what we call in Sanskrit Prashnena Bhav, freedom to question. So you have to have a freedom to question whenever you are studying. In your home, who asks maximum questions? The children ask maximum questions. Why does they ask so many questions?
Probably still pure.
They want to learn.
Why do they ask so many questions? Because
Curious, they don't know.
they believe that you know the answer.
Oh, yeah.
When they stop
I didn't think of that.
when they stop asking questions, now you should understand they know that you don't know anything. Now you ask question, how to upload YAR, how to download this, how to do this thing, how to do this thing. Why do you ask question? A question is a freedom. A child asks maximum question. So in this subject, the freedom is a question. And it's a question, a very interesting phenomena, friends. When you ask question, it is not for a student to know how much he knows. You know that how much a teacher knows. You know, there was a professor, he used to teach theory of relativity in USA. He used to travel all over the USA to give lecture on theory of relativity. And with him, his driver also used to travel regularly. So he used to travel and his driver also used to travel. So one day the driver said, "Sir, I have heard your lecture so many times. I have heard your lecture so many times. Now I can give a lecture." Professor said, "You can give a lecture?" He said, "Yes, I heard it so many times. I know what is your next sentence. So please, I can also give lecture on theory of relativity." Professor said, "Okay, fair enough. Next time where I'm going, they know me by name but not by face. So I will go there as a driver." And the driver went there as a professor. So deal was set. So the professor went there as a driver and driver went there as a professor. And the driver was very, very eloquent, very, very eloquent in his speech. He really gave a very nice speech. And after the speech, one boy asked one question. And he answered that question also. It was a normal question. But suddenly one boy asked a very tough question. And when asked very tough question, the driver, who was behaving like a professor, when he asked a tough question, the professor, a driver said, what an idiotic question. What a useless question. This is a so useless question, even my driver can answer this question. So you know what I'm trying to build up? It's a freedom to question. The whole scriptures, if you go to Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, Vedas, all the scriptures in Vedanta is nothing but a question answer. So that's the spirit we are learning. Freedom to question. When you question, it doesn't mean that you are arguing. When you question, you want to learn more. So the whole Bhagavad Gita is a discussion. It's not an argument, please. In argument, you don't listen. In discussion, you listen. In Sanskrit, there are two words, samvad or vivad. Samvad is a discussion and vivad is an argument. So in this class, 1.5 hours, which we are going to study this, we are going to analyze different aspects of human mind, different aspects of human life. So in Vedas, the human lives are divided into 5 aspects. If you analyze, human life is divided into 5 aspects. The material aspect, the physical, emotional, intellectual and spiritual. So in this today, I'm not going to analyze spiritual, intellectual or physical or material. In this 1 hour, because to explain all 5 aspects, it's a 3-year course. And I don't think you have a capacity, energy and capacity. So I'm going to analyze one aspect of human personality. I repeat, the Vedas describe human personality in 4 parts. First is the material. I have a relationship with this watch. This is a relationship. I have a relationship with this glasses. I have a connection with my car. They are all material things. Now you have to know how to handle your material object. You have to know how to drive a car. And that's why you go to a master, you go to a teacher, you go to a training school where they teach you how to drive a car. So there is a knowledge which teaches you how to handle a material things. Whenever you buy any gadget, friends, whenever you buy any gadgets, anywhere in the world, electronic gadget, the manufacturer gives you a manual. Isn't it true? Whenever you buy any gadgets, a manufacturer gives you a manual, and purpose of a manual is to learn that manual before you contact a gadget. Especially iPod or iPhone or a gadgets, any computer or anything, you get a manual. But suppose somebody doesn't read those manual and contact that gadget unintelligently, what are the options? Is going to get problem. So there is a material knowledge. Vedas, the 4 Vedas, gives you knowledge about the material things. How can you handle it? Most of us wants, what is the most of us wants in this world? What is that you want? Most of us wants in this world.
Happiness.
That's true, that's a byproduct. For which you want happiness?
Money.
Money, absolutely right. Be honest. We all are seeking money, and money is a happiness. Now in Hindu gods, there are 33 million gods and goddesses in Hindu system. 33 crore devi devata, 33 million gods and goddesses. Now don't ask me the name of all goddesses. You may wonder, how does he remember all that? Now 33 million gods and gods symbolize your 30 different types of desires. You want money? We have a goddess of wealth. Who's the goddess of wealth?
Lakshmi.
Lakshmi, everybody knows that. Who's the goddess of knowledge?
Saraswati.
Saraswati. Who's the goddess of god of success?
Vishnu.
Ganesha, absolutely right. The god of success is Ganesha, the goddess of wealth is the Lakshmi, the goddess of knowledge is the Saraswati, the goddess of power is the Durga. By the way, there are gods of disease also. You will be surprised. Shitla Mata is the goddess of disease. We have a god for lust, god for calm, Kamadev. So there are infinite desires you have. You have a desire for money, nothing wrong. But the goddess of the wealth, I'm just talking about one aspect, the goddess of wealth is the Lakshmi. The root word for a Lakshmi is the Laksha. Laksha means goal. If you want a wealth, man, if you want a wealth, first and foremost, you need to have a goal in life. And anybody knows what is the vehicle of a Lakshmi? All the gods and goddesses. It's an interesting phenomenon. You see, any gods will have some animals with it.
Yeah.
Isn't it owl?
Huh?
Owl, isn't it?
Don't tell me, I do know that, I know. Why are you answering? They will believe that you are.
He's testing his own knowledge.
So owl is in America, by the way, owl is a symbol of wisdom. But in India, owl is a symbol of laziness. If you call somebody Ullu in India, it's like a very insult.
Yeah.
So owl symbolize laziness, lethargy, procrastination, heedlessness to consequences. And if you want to get a wealth, friends, first of all, make a goal in life. Control your laziness. And Lakshmi Pandavari, Lakshmi is serving the Lord. So pick up a goal in life. I'm not just going to discuss today on this aspect. I'm just bringing little bit of knowledge, just a symbol. If you want a material life, pick up a goal in life. Dedicate yourself to that goal and control your laziness. Lakshmi Pandavagi, the Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, will nourish you. Second is a physical aspect, and that's very popular in West. Yoga, pranayama. If you ask anybody in West, Hinduism is just symbol of yoga. Yoga is a physical exercise, which is very important. So there is a whole study. So if you want a material happiness, you have to have a laksha, goal, purpose. And if you want a physical health, follow yogas. Yogas are the exercise through which you control your physical disease. You control your physical phenomena. You control your disease. So this is not a topic. Today I am not going to discuss the material aspect. I am not going to discuss physical aspect. I am just giving you, there are 5 aspects of human person. In Bhagavad Vedas teach us the 5 aspects. Material, physical, and then spiritual. That's not a subject today. Spiritual knowledge of this. Veda says this word that you are experiencing, I'm making it just a statement. It's the word that you are experiencing is an illusion. There is no word at all. That word that you are experiencing, they call it Maya. Maya means it's imagination of your own mind. The word is nothing but a reflection of your own thoughts. You create your own words, you make your own words, you mar your own word. You are the creator of your own word. There's not somebody sitting in heaven and dishing out happiness or sorrow to you. The word that you are experiencing is according to your own mental temperament. This word that you are experiencing, they call it Maya. If you don't believe me, if you have seen the movie Matrix, the English movie Matrix, and in that Matrix, the third is a revolution, I believe. The third one is a revolution. In the last Matrix scene, in a title, when there's a title, there's a chanting of Katha Upanishad. It's a whole chanting of a Katha Upanishad in a Matrix. And the director somebody asked, from where did you get inspiration to make this movie? He gave the Vedas, he gave the Upanishad to the music director. So he put the chanting. So I'm coming back again. The Vedas deals with the 5 aspects: material, physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. I'm not discussing spiritual today. I'm not discussing material. I'm not discussing physical. And neither I'm discussing intellectual also. Abstract ideas. There are abstract ideas, subtle ideas of the Vedas, which discuss about what is the first thought comes, what is the beginning of this word? There are lots of abstract ideas, so that's not a topic. I'm going to discuss today only one aspect, which is a emotional aspect of human mind, human personality. And for that verse, to understand that, I brought two verses today. This is the verse from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse number 62 and 63. And just because Bhagavad Gita is like if the Bhagavan, the Lord gave it the whole bouquet of flower to the whole mankind. He gave a bouquet of flower to the whole humankind. And each verse of the Bhagavad Gita is like a flower. Please remember, the Bhagavan gave a whole bouquet of flower to humankind, and each verse of the Bhagavad Gita is like a flower. Now, if you see flower has three qualities, friends. Each flower has three qualities. If you see flower from far, it has a beauty. If you go near to the flower, it has a fragrance. And go down to each petals, there's a nectar. So the Lord Krishna gave the flower, the bouquet of flower to whole humankind. So we are going to analyze one verse, just one verse. It's actually two verses, but it's a one idea. And we are going to analyze how human mind functions. How your mind functions, friend. And this is 5,000-year-old literature. This is not just given by Tom, Dick and Harry. This is not somebody who just gave a flimsy idea. This is an idea given by a scripture and time-tested, 5,000-year-old verses. The verses that you are reading now, it's not my creation. It's the Bhagavad Gita, 5,000-year-old literature. And what is that verses? Let's see and analyze. So we'll start with the verse number 62, 63 of chapter number 2. We'll chant together, this first Pranava chant, and then we'll all chant together.
ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः सङ्गस्तेषुपजायते सङ्गात् सञ्जायते कामः कामात् क्रोधोऽभिजायते ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः सङ्गस्तेषुपजायते सङ्गात् सञ्जायते कामः कामात् क्रोधोऽभिजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशः बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशः बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति.
Dhyayato Vishyan Punsa. When you keep on thinking about any thought, a man dwelling on thoughts develop attachment for them. When you keep on thinking on thought, any thought, unknowingly, knowingly, if you keep on lingering on that thought, from thought arises attachment. And from attachment springs up desire. And from desire, you get anger. George Bernard Shaw, the famous British writer, said, there are two types of tragedies man has to face. He said, there are two types of tragedies man has to face. The first tragedy is when you do not get desire of your heart. The first tragedy is when you do not get desire of your heart. And second tragedy is when you get it. If you don't get what you desire, first there is a thought. And thought goes for two things, either to object or a being. आपके दो जगह thought जाते हैं. For two places your thoughts goes. Either your thoughts goes to objects or a beings. You may have an acquaintance with the hundreds of people, friends. You may have an acquaintance with the hundreds of people. Your relationship is not more than 7 or 8 people. You may have an acquaintance with the thousands of people, but your real relationship is 7 or 8 people, and whole life you have to handle these 7 or 8 people. And what happens when you have a thoughts, strong thoughts? You start you start lingers on that thoughts. Why not? Why not? I'm going to give you two examples, thought of object or relationship, because we are discussing emotional aspect. Our relationship is a very important facet of our life. You become very emotionally attached. Why do you become emotionally attached? You keep on thinking on that object or being, especially we keep on thinking on that individual. Bar, lagatar, kahin bar, when you keep on thinking on that object or being, you become attached. And the interesting point is, when you have strong attachment to any being, you feel you are in love. It's not a love, it's an attachment. That's why in English they say, you fall in love. Why do you fall in love? Rise in love. You have to rise in love. So how it happens? When you have a strong thoughts and strong attachment and desire. Suppose you don't get what you desire. What happens when you have strong thoughts and desire? Anything. What happens when you don't unfulfilled desire? You get angry. You get anger. This is not my verses, this is the Bhagavad Gita. I'm quoting you from the verse number, chapter 2, verse number 62. If you don't get what you desire, friends, you get anger. Let's analyze. If you get what you desire, are you happy now? You have a desire to buy a 2-bedroom apartment. You got a 2-bedroom apartment. Are you happy?
Father desire.
You have a desire to get a, I'm just quoting, 5,000 pound job. You got a 5,000 monthly pound job. Happy now?
No, 10,000 pound job.
Indeed. Suppose you got a 10,000 pound job. The richest man wants more riches. The most beautiful girls want more beauty. The most powerful individual want more power. I'm not against money, please, because in India we worship wealth.